The church bell tolled like a death knell as Elias stormed out of the Sunday service, his mother's words echoing in his mind like poison. "Homosexuality is a sin straight from hell," she had declared from the pulpit, her voice sharp and unyielding, drawing nods from the congregation while Elias felt his world crumble. He had hidden his truth for years, but now, at 25, the weight of her hatred threatened to bury him alive. Elias drove home in silence, gripping the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. The small town of Elmwood, nestled in the heart of conservative Ohio, had always felt like a cage, but today it was suffocating. His mother, Evelyn, was the pillar of St. Mary's Church, a devout widow who led Bible studies and organized anti-LGBT rallies with fervent zeal. To the outside world, she was a beacon of moral righteousness. To Elias, she was the architect of his torment. Pulling into the driveway of their modest two-story home, Elias slammed the car door and headed straight to his room upstairs. He collapsed onto the bed, staring at the ceiling where faded posters of high school heroes still hung, reminders of a life he could never fully live. His phone buzzed, a text from Jordan, his secret boyfriend of 2 years. "You okay?" That sermon sounded brutal. Elias's fingers hovered over the keys, but he couldn't reply. How could he explain that his own mother was leading the charge against people like him? Evelyn arrived home an hour later, her heels clicking on the hardwood floor. She called out, "Elias? Honey, are you here?" He didn't answer. She knocked softly on his door before pushing it open. "What's wrong? You left service early." He sat up, eyes blazing. "What's wrong? You stood up there and called people like me abominations. How do you think that makes me feel?" Her face hardened, but there was a flicker in her eyes, something Elias couldn't quite place. "People like you? What are you talking about? I've raised you right, Elias. Don't tell me you're buying into that liberal nonsense." The argument escalated quickly. Elias's voice rose, years of pent-up frustration spilling out. "Mom, I'm gay. I've always been gay. And every time you rant about it, you're ranting about me." Evelyn's hand flew to her mouth, but instead of shock, her expression twisted into denial. "No. You're confused. It's that city influence from college. We'll pray about it. The church can help." Elias laughed bitterly. "The church? The same church that preaches love but practices hate? No thanks." She left the room without another word, but Elias heard her sobbing downstairs. He wanted to feel guilty, but the relief of finally saying it out loud outweighed the pain. Little did he know, Evelyn's tears weren't just for him. They were for the secrets she had buried deep to keep him safe. The next day, Elias met Jordan at their usual spot, a secluded park bench by the river on the outskirts of town. Jordan, with his easy smile and kind eyes, worked as a teacher at the local high school, hiding his own identity in a community where being out could cost you everything. "She didn't take it well?" Jordan asked, pulling Elias into a hug. "Worse than I imagined," Elias admitted. "But at least it's out there now. Maybe things can change." Jordan shook his head. "In Elmwood? Doubtful. Your mom's the face of the anti-gay movement here. Remember last year's protest against the Pride event in Cleveland? She organized the bus trip." Elias winced.
"Yeah, Ido.
"But she's my mom. She has to come around eventually." Their conversation was interrupted by a call from Elias's sister, Mia, who lived in New York and had escaped the town's clutches years ago. "Elias, what happened?" "Mom called me hysterical, saying you're lost and need intervention." He explained everything and Mia sighed. "I've suspected for years, bro. But Mom, she's complicated. Dad's death hit her hard, and she clung to the church like a lifeline. Give her time, but don't let her drag you down." As the week progressed, tensions at home simmered. Evelyn avoided Elias, burying herself in church activities. She led a meeting on protecting family values, railing against the gay agenda, with even more fervor. Elias overheard her on the phone with Pastor Reynolds, her voice steady. "We must stand firm. The devil is at work in our homes." But alone in her room that night, Evelyn pulled out an old photo album. Pictures of Elias as a child, smiling with his father, who had died in a car accident when Elias was 10. She whispered to the empty room, "John, what would you do? I can't lose him too." Unbeknownst to Elias, Evelyn's hatred wasn't born from conviction. It was a shield. Years ago, when Elias was a teenager, she had discovered his secret through a hidden journal. Terrified of what the church might do, excommunication, conversion therapy, or worse, she had decided to become the loudest voice against homosexuality, hoping to deflect suspicion from her own son. If she was seen as the staunchest opponent, no one would suspect Elias. It was a desperate gamble, one that tore at her soul every day. But in Elmwood, where the church controlled everything from jobs to social standing, exposure could destroy him. She had seen it happen to others. Families torn apart, lives ruined. So she played the role, hating herself more with each sermon. Elias, oblivious to her motives, began pulling away. He spent more time with Jordan, dreaming of leaving town. "We could move to New York with Mia," Jordan suggested one evening as they walked hand in hand under the cover of dusk. "Start fresh." The idea thrilled Elias, but guilt gnawed at him. "What about Mom? She's all alone now." Jordan squeezed his hand. "She made her choices. You have to make yours." As the first hints of autumn colored the leaves, Elias made a decision. He would confront Evelyn one last time, demand acceptance or leave for good. But fate had other plans. During a church fundraiser, Pastor Reynolds pulled Evelyn aside. "I've heard rumors about Elias. Is it true? We can help him, send him to a program." Evelyn's heart raced. "Rumors? From who?" "Doesn't matter. But if it's true, we must act. For his soul." She nodded, but inside panic surged. Her facade was cracking, and the very danger she had tried to avert was closing in. That night, Elias found a note on his bed. "Meet me at the old oak tree by the river. Midnight. We need to talk." "Mom." Intrigued and wary, he went. Under the moonlight, Evelyn waited, her face pale. "Elias, there's something you need to know. Everything I've done. It's been for you." He crossed his arms. "For me? How is hating me protecting me?" She took a deep breath. "Because if I didn't, the church would have come for you years ago." Elias stared at his mother, the river's gentle rush the only sound breaking the silence. "What do you mean, come for me?" he demanded, his voice a mix of anger and confusion. Evelyn glanced around, as if the trees might be listening. "Sit down, son. This isn't easy." They settled on a fallen log, the cool night air carrying the scent of impending rain. She began, her words measured. "When you were 15, I found your journal. The one where you wrote about your feelings for that boy in your class, Tommy." Elias's face flushed. "You read my journal? That's a violation." "I know," she interrupted, her eyes pleading. "But I was scared. Your father had just passed, and the church was all we had. Pastor Reynolds. He's not just a preacher. He runs rehabilitation programs. I've seen what they do. Kids sent away broken, some never the same. So you decided to become the town's biggest homophobe?" Elias's tone dripped with sarcasm. Evelyn nodded, tears welling. "Yes, if I was the one leading the charge, no one would look at you. They'd think, Evelyn's son? Impossible. She's too vigilant. It was my way of protecting you from them." He stood up, pacing. "Protecting me? By making my life hell? Do you know how many nights I cried myself to sleep, thinking you hated me?" "I hated myself more," she whispered. "Every rally, every speech, it killed a piece of me. But I remembered what happened to the miller's boy. He came out, and the church pressured his parents into sending him to camp. He came back, empty. I couldn't let that happen to you." Elias stopped, processing her words. The Miller family had moved away abruptly. Rumors said their son had issues. Now it made sense. "So all this time you've been acting?" "Not entirely," Evelyn admitted. "I was raised in the church. I believed some of it once. But loving you changed everything. I couldn't reconcile their teachings with my son." The revelation hit Elias like a wave, stirring a storm of emotions. Relief, Betrayal, anger. Why didn't you just leave the church? We could have moved. And go where? This town is our life. Your father's insurance barely covers the house. The church helped us after he died. Food, bills, community. Leaving would mean isolation, poverty. Elias sat back down, head in hands. So you sacrificed our relationship for stability? She reached for his hand, but he pulled away. I thought I could fix it later when you were older, independent. But now, the rumors are starting. Pastor Reynolds knows something. Fear crept into Elias's voice. What does he know? He's suspicious. Someone saw you with Jordan. Elias's heart sank. Jordan, his anchor in this mess. How? Small town, son. Eyes everywhere. They parted that night with uneasy truce. Elias promised to be careful. Evelyn vowed to deflect the pastor. But sleep evaded him, his mind racing. Was her protection worth the pain? And what about Jordan, who deserved better than hiding? The next morning, Elias confided in Jordan over coffee at a diner outside town. She was faking it? To protect you? Jordan's eyes widened. Yeah, but it doesn't erase the hurt. Jordan leaned in. Maybe not, but it explains a lot. What now? I don't know. Part of me wants to forgive her, but another part screams to run. Jordan's face darkened. I've been thinking about that. My contract's up in June. We could leave together. The idea tempted Elias, but guilt lingered. And abandon her to the wolves? She's an adult. She chose this path. As days turned to weeks, Evelyn's double life strained her. At church, she amplified her rhetoric, organizing a petition against a proposed state law for LGBTQ+ rights. We must protect our children, she proclaimed, while privately slipping Elias articles on acceptance and therapy resources. But cracks appeared. During a family dinner with extended relatives, Aunt Clara remarked, Evelyn, you're so strong on these issues. Good thing Elias turned out straight as an arrow. Evelyn forced a smile, but Elias saw the strain. Later, alone in the kitchen, she confessed, I can't keep this up much longer. Then stop, Elias urged. Come clean. And lose everything? The church is my world. Maybe it's time for a new one. Their fragile alliance was tested when Pastor Reynolds visited unannounced. Evelyn, we need to talk about Elias. She ushered him into the living room, heart pounding. What's this about? Rumors of unnatural behavior. If true, we can intervene early. Evelyn's mind raced. Nonsense. Elias is fine. Probably just youthful confusion. The pastor eyed her suspiciously. You're defensive. Perhaps you're too close to see it. After he left, Evelyn confronted Elias. We have to act. Maybe. Pretend to send you to therapy. Buy time. Elias recoiled. Pretend? No way. That's lying to everyone. It's survival, she insisted. The argument escalated, voices rising. You've been lying for years, Elias shouted. And look where it's got us. Hiding, fearing. Evelyn's face crumpled. I did it for you. Maybe you did it for yourself, he shot back. Afraid of what they'd think of you. Hurt flashed in her eyes, but she didn't deny it. The seed of doubt planted, Elias stormed out, heading to Jordan's apartment. There, in the safety of his arms, Elias broke down. She's trapped in her own web. Jordan held him. We all are in this town, but we can break free. As winter approached, whispers grew louder. Co-workers eyed Elias strangely at his job in the local hardware store. Jordan faced questions at school. Seen with that Thompson boy a lot. Anything we should know? Pressure mounted, forcing decisions. Evelyn, sensing the net closing, made a risky move. She anonymously tipped off a progressive journalist about the church's programs, hoping to expose them without implicating herself. But the plan backfired. The journalist dug deeper, uncovering Evelyn's role in past rallies. A story brewed. Hypocrite or hero? Church leaders' secret agenda. Panic set in. Evelyn confided in Elias. If this comes out, it'll destroy me. Good, Elias said bitterly. Maybe truth is the only way. Their relationship teetered on the edge as external forces converged. Jordan, fearing for his job, suggested, "Let's leave now, before it's too late." Elias hesitated, torn between loyalty and freedom. The choice loomed, heavy with consequences. The article hit the local paper like a bombshell. St. Mary's hidden agenda. Leaders' anti-gay crusade questioned. Evelyn's name wasn't directly mentioned, but hints pointed straight at her. Organizer of rallies, vocal opponent. The church buzzed with speculation, and Pastor Reynolds called an emergency meeting. Evelyn sat in the front pew, feigning outrage. Who would spread such lies? We must pray for guidance. But inside, regret churned. Her anonymous tip had spiraled, drawing unwanted attention. Reynolds pulled her aside after. "Evelyn, this smells like an inside job. Anything you want to confess?" Her pulse quickened. "Of course not, Pastor. I'm as shocked as you." He studied her. "Good, because if there's truth to it, heads will roll." Elias read the article at work, his boss eyeing him. "Your mom involved in this mess?" "No idea," Elias muttered, but anxiety gripped him. He texted Evelyn, "What did you do?" Her reply, "Tried to help. Backfired." That evening they met in the kitchen, tension thick. "You exposed the church?" Elias asked incredulously. "I thought it would shift focus from you," she explained. "Highlight their extremes, maybe force change. Or get us both ostracized," he countered. Their debate was interrupted by a knock. It was Jordan, face ashen. "School board called me in. Parents complaining about influences on kids. They know about us." Elias's world tilted. "How?" Someone talked. "Probably church connections." Evelyn paled. "This is my fault." Jordan glared at her. "Yeah, it is. Your protection put us all at risk." She didn't argue, guilt etching her features. "I'll fix it. Talk to Reynolds, say it's lies." But Jordan shook his head. "Too late. I'm suspended pending investigation." The fallout rippled. Elias's co-workers whispered. Customers avoided him. Mia called from New York. "Get out now, Elias. Bring Mom if you can." "I can't just leave her," he replied. "Then convince her to come." Evelyn, meanwhile, faced her own crisis. Friends distanced themselves. The church scrutinized her every move. During a private confession with Reynolds, she teetered on the edge of truth. "Pastor, what if, hypothetically, someone close was struggling with sin?" He leaned forward. "We help them, through prayer therapy. But what if it's not sin? What if it's who they are?" His eyes narrowed. "That's dangerous thinking, Evelyn. Sounds like doubt." She backpedaled, but the seed was sown. That night, she dreamed of her husband, John, who had always been more open-minded. "Love him as he is," he seemed to say. Awakening with resolve, she confronted Elias. "We need to leave Elmwood." He blinked. "You? Leave the church? It's poisoned everything." "I see that now." But Elias, bitter from Jordan's suspension, lashed out. "Now you see? After ruining lives." "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I thought I was saving you." "From what?" "Yourself." The words cut deep, but she persisted. "Help me make it right." Reluctantly, Elias agreed to plan an exit. They contacted Mia, who offered her apartment temporarily. Jordan, packing his things, joined. Only if she truly changes. As they plotted in secret, betrayal struck. An old church friend, suspecting Evelyn's shift, informed Reynolds. He ambushed her at home. "I know about Elias, and your doubts. You're complicit." Evelyn stood tall. "He's my son. I won't let you hurt him." Reynolds sneered. "Then you're out. Excommunicated." The news spread like wildfire. Neighbors shunned them. The hardware store fired Elias due to community concerns.
Jordan S. suspension Beckham permanent.
In the chaos, Elias and Jordan's relationship strained. "This town's toxic," Jordan said. "But your mom's the source."
No, Elias defended.
"She's trying." A heated argument ensued. "Choose, Elias. Her or us." Torn, Elias walked out, wandering the streets. He ended up at the river, where Evelyn found him. "I'm sorry for everything." He looked at her, seeing vulnerability. "Why didn't you fight sooner?" "Fear. But losing you scares me more." They embraced, a tentative healing. But the damage was done. With nothing left, they loaded the car, Elias, Evelyn, Jordan heading to New York. On the drive, silence reigned until Jordan spoke. "This better be real, Evelyn." "It is," she assured. "No more pretending." Arriving in the city, Mia welcomed them. Fresh start, everyone. But adjustment was hard. Evelyn grappled with loss of faith, attending support groups for parents of LGBTQ+ kids. Elias and Jordan navigated their mended bond, therapy helping unpack years of hiding. Yet shadows lingered. Back in Elmwood, Reynolds ramped up rhetoric, using their fall as a cautionary tale. A letter arrived. "You've betrayed God. Repent." Evelyn burned it, but doubt crept in. Had she done right? One evening, over dinner, she shared her full story. "I pretended to hate to protect, but it hurt more than helped." Jordan softened. "Takes courage to admit." Elias nodded. "We're here now." But high drama awaited. Mia revealed she had a contact, a lawyer fighting church abuses. Sue them. Expose the programs. Evelyn hesitated. Reopen wounds? Or prevent more? Elias urged. She agreed, igniting a legal battle. Depositions forced Evelyn to testify against Reynolds, revealing coerced therapies, emotional manipulations. The case gained media attention. Mother's deception turns to defiance against church. Supporters rallied. Opponents harassed. Threats came, phone calls, online vitriol. In court, Evelyn faced Reynolds. "You twisted faith into fear," she accused. He countered, "You betrayed your vows." The trial's tension peaked when Elias testified. Her lies hurt, but the church's hate destroyed. Jurors deliberated, the family waiting in agony. The verdict came on a crisp spring morning. The church, guilty of emotional distress and coercion, ordered to cease therapy programs and pay damages. Cheers erupted in the courtroom. But for Evelyn, it was bittersweet. She had won justice but lost her old life forever. Outside, reporters swarmed. "Mrs. Thompson, how does it feel to take down your own church?" She paused, microphone thrust forward. "It wasn't my church anymore. It was a prison." Elias stood beside her, proud yet weary. The trial had unearthed painful memories. His isolation, her internal war. Jordan squeezed his hand, a silent anchor. Back at Mia's apartment, now their semi-permanent home, they celebrated quietly. Mia raised a glass. To new beginnings. Evelyn clinked hers. And old regrets. The win brought closure, but scars remained. Evelyn volunteered at an LGBTQ+ center, sharing her story to help others. "I was the enemy once," she'd say. "Change is possible." Elias landed a job in graphic design, thriving in the city's openness. He and Jordan moved into a small place together, their love no longer shadowed. Yet conflicts arose. Evelyn's lingering faith clashed with Elias's atheism. "How can you still believe after everything?" he asked during a heated dinner. "Because faith isn't the church," she replied. "It's personal." Jordan mediated. "Give her space. She's evolving." But evolution was messy. Evelyn dated a man from the center, a widower with a gay daughter. "Hypocritical," Elias teased. "No," she smiled. "Human." As months passed, a new threat emerged. Reynolds appealed the verdict, rallying supporters. Protests formed outside the center where Evelyn worked. Traitors to God. One night, a brick shattered the window. A note attached, "You'll burn." Fear returned. Elias insisted, "We move again? To California?" Evelyn shook her head. "No running. We fight." Their resolve tested when Jordan received an offer. A teaching position in Seattle. Better pay, progressive school. But it's far. Elias's heart sank. "Without you." "With you," Jordan clarified. "If you come." The choice divided the family. Mia urged, "Go. Live your life." Evelyn, tearful, "I'll miss you, but understand." Elias agonized. Leaving meant abandoning her again. "You've sacrificed enough." She hugged him. "Now it's your turn to fly." But betrayal lurked. Unbeknownst to them, Mia had been in contact with Reynolds' lawyers, not as enemy, but informant? No, wait. Mia's loyalty was solid, but doubt from past lies made Elias paranoid. One evening, he confronted her. "You've been quiet. Anything wrong?" Mia confessed, "I donated to the church once, years ago. Felt guilty." Elias exploded. "You what?" "It was before I knew everything." The argument fractured bonds. Evelyn defended Mia. "We all have pasts." Jordan sighed. "This family's full of secrets." Healing required effort. Therapy sessions unpacked layers. Evelyn's fear-driven choices, Elias's resentment, Jordan's patience wearing thin. In a pivotal session, Evelyn admitted, "I pretended hate to protect, but it was cowardice. I should have stood up sooner." Elias softened. "And I should have seen your pain." Reconciliation bloomed. They decided Elias and Jordan to Seattle, Evelyn staying in New York with Mia, visiting often. But drama peaked when Reynolds' appeal hearing arrived. Evelyn testified again, facing cross-examination. "You lied for years. Why believe you now?" "Because truth costs more," she replied steadily. The appeal failed, solidifying their victory. Media hailed Evelyn as a hero, but she shrugged. "Just a mother." As Elias packed for Seattle, emotions surged. "Promise you'll visit?" Evelyn nodded. "Every chance." At the airport, hugs lingered. "I love you, son. No more pretending." In Seattle, Elias and Jordan built a life, marriage, a home, community. Letters from Evelyn shared her growth. New friends, advocacy work. Yet one letter brought shock. "I'm writing a book, our story, to help others." Elias called, "Brave, Mom." "It is, but necessary." The book sparked controversy. Praise from progressives, backlash from conservatives. Evelyn toured, facing debates. In one TV interview, a host asked, "Was your deception justified?" She paused. "In the moment, yes, but the price was high." Elias watched, proud. Their journey from deception to defiance had transformed them, but not without cost. Jordan, reflecting on losses, said, "We paid dearly." Elias agreed. "But we're free." Evelyn's visit to Seattle sealed healing. Over dinner, she shared, "I miss the old life sometimes. The certainty." "Certainties that hurt?" Elias asked. She nodded. "Yes, better this uncertainty with love." As they walked along the waterfront, Evelyn pulled Elias aside. "One more thing. I forgive myself. Finally." He smiled. "Good, because I forgave you long ago." The family, scattered yet connected, moved forward. Wounds healed, but memories lingered. A reminder of choices wait. Years later, Elias looked back on that tumultuous period as the forge that shaped his unbreakable spirit. In Seattle, he and Jordan had married in a simple ceremony, surrounded by friends who celebrated their love without judgment. Evelyn attended, beaming with pride, her transformation complete. She now led workshops for parents navigating similar paths, turning her pain into purpose. But the road hadn't been smooth. The book's release ignited a firestorm. Conservative groups picketed her events, calling her a traitor. One particularly vicious online campaign dredged up old rally footage, labeling her a hypocrite. Evelyn weathered it, but the toll showed in her weary eyes during video calls. "Keep going, Mom," Elias encouraged. "You're changing minds." She chuckled. "Some days, I wonder if it's worth it." Jordan, ever the optimist, added, "It is. Look at the letters you get. Families reunited." Indeed, stories poured in. A father who left his church to support his daughter. A mother who halted conversion therapy for her son. Evelyn's deception, once a source of shame, became a catalyst for dialogue. Yet personal costs mounted. Mia, back in New York, faced her own reckoning. Her past donation to the church surfaced in a tabloid, straining her career in marketing. "Why drag me into this?" she confronted Evelyn. "Because truth exposes everything," Evelyn replied.
I'm sorry.
They reconciled over time, but the rift highlighted how one person's choices rippled outward. In Seattle, Elias thrived professionally, designing campaigns for LGBTQ+ rights organizations. Jordan taught at an inclusive school, mentoring young students grappling with identity. Their home became a haven, hosting dinners where stories of struggle and triumph were shared. One evening, a young man named Tyler visited, a referral from Evelyn's group. "My parents are like you were," he confided to Elias. "Hiding behind hate." Elias shared his tale, emphasizing, "Confrontation hurts, but silence kills." Tyler left inspired, but Elias pondered the ethics. Had Evelyn's pretense been a necessary evil or a moral failing? The question haunted family gatherings. During a holiday visit, debate flared. "You could have left earlier," Jordan argued with Evelyn. "And risked poverty? Isolation?" she countered. Mia interjected. "But the emotional damage to Elias." Elias mediated. "It was wrong, but understandable. Fear drives bad decisions." The conversation evolved into deeper reflections on society's role. "Churches like St. Mary's thrive on division," Evelyn noted. "We need systemic change." Inspired, Elias launched a podcast interviewing survivors of religious trauma. Evelyn guested first, her voice steady. "I pretended hate to shield my son, but it shielded the real villains too." The episode went viral, sparking national discourse. Politicians weighed in. Bills against conversion therapy gained traction. But opposition struck back. Reynolds, now leading a splinter group, sued for defamation. The legal battle drained resources, testing resolve. In court, Evelyn faced him again. "You destroyed families," she accused. "You destroyed faith," he retorted. Jurors sided with her, but victory felt hollow. "How many more fights?" she asked Elias afterward. "As many as needed," he replied. Post-trial, Evelyn retired from advocacy, focusing on writing. Her second book explored forgiveness, self, and others. Elias read the manuscript, moved. "This is your legacy." She smiled. "Ours." As time passed, relationships deepened. Jordan and Elias adopted a child, a boy named after Elias's father. Evelyn doted from afar, visiting often. During one visit, as they watched the child play, Evelyn confessed, "I wonder if John would approve." "He would," Elias assured. "He loved unconditionally." The moment crystallized their growth, from fractured family to fortified unit. Yet the story's core dilemma lingered. In quiet moments, Elias questioned the morality of deception for protection. At the book's launch, Evelyn ended her speech with, "Was my lie justified? You decide." Audience murmured, debates igniting. Back home, Elias echoed the sentiment to Jordan. "What do you think?" Jordan pondered. "In a broken world, sometimes, but truth heals faster." Evelyn's journey, from fervent opponent to fierce ally, illustrated the human capacity for change, but at what cost? The family, forever altered, embraced the ambiguity. Love, they learned, demanded sacrifice, confrontation, and ultimately acceptance. In the end, as Evelyn watched her grandson laugh, she knew the price was worth it. But the question remained open for all. Was a mother's deceptive hatred, born of desperate love, ultimately right or wrong?